Democrat right back in office.
But the fix is in with this thing, isn't it? And can we talk about the queen of the Tea Party? Because we take a lot of flack on this show for taking Sarah Palin to task. A lot of people have shot back at us. But let's face it, she is just establishment as well. She's been set up. She's pretty much fluff who's been put out there to mislead a lot of people, isn't she?
Well, okay, understand this. Okay, and I've been studying this plan now for 27 years. And Cutting Edge has been uniquely right in most of what we said, okay? Mm-hmm. Because we line up the Illuminati plan with Bible prophecy and Bible doctrine. When we get a lineup, we know it's going to happen, and we take a stand on it. That's a very solid foundational base. Yeah. But I have learned that the Illuminati does not even allow a person to step on their podium, step on their stage, unless that person is sold out to the total Illuminati plan. Mm-hmm. So when Sarah Palin stepped onto the stage to accept the vice presidential nomination for the Republican Party from Senator John McCain, she stepped on the Illuminati stage. Yeah. That means she was sold out. So, that's a poison pill right there. Mm-hmm. You can know immediately what this person's all about. And then we discovered, photos in which, Todd Palin is flashing a Masonic, hand gesture.
Yes.
And also I learned that when a politician comes out of absolutely nowhere with funding and with power and with influence and wins elections like Jimmy Carter did, in the 70s, it came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
That they are being controlled by the Illuminati, and it was true with him, and I'm convinced it's true with Sarah Palin. And, of course, when she comes out and she says that her great mentor is Henry Kissinger.
Ding, ding, ding. Yeah, there you go.
Ding, ding, ding. The biggest Illuminati ever. The guy who really has no trouble, who told President Nixon he had no trouble with the Jews going through the gas ovens.
Yeah. This guy's unabashed, isn't he?
This guy is as wicked and as hard-hearted as they come. And he is a perfect example of what Jesus talked about twice in Revelation. In Revelation 2 and 3, he says that at the end of the age there's going to be a group of people who say they are Jews but are not, but are of the synagogue of Satan.
Yes, read that, yes.
Former Satanists tell me, and I've worked with 3 of them, they tell me that Henry Kissinger is deeply into the occult, as all Illuminati are, into Satanism, and that he is actually a member of the Council of 13, of which Prince Charles is the head. And that's the group that decides which events are going to occur and in what order and what time, what pace. So he's a very very, very, wicked Illuminati guy, okay, through and through. And here Sarah Palin brags about him. There's YouTube up there, lots of YouTube broadcasts where she talks about how wonderful Henry Kissinger is and how he is her mentor.
Mm-hmm. There's also significance of a pin you pointed out on your site, a pin you saw Sarah Palin wear, and also the same pin that Hillary Clinton wears.
Yeah, it's called the Phoenix Bird pin, and we saw it first occur in the late 90s. I think it was 98. Hillary Clinton, First Lady Hillary Clinton, began wearing this pin, and suddenly all of the cabinet members, all the female cabinet members of the Clinton administration were wearing it. Mrs. McCain showed up with it when her husband won the 2000 Republican election, in New Hampshire. I had a former Satanist look at it, and it is a phoenix bird, which means that it's an Illuminati pin. It's depicting You know, the phoenix bird is one of the major symbols of the coming Antichrist. And here this phoenix bird had the world in its claws. Now, very, very nasty.
And she's wearing it. Sarah Palin's wearing it.
Yep, she was.
Kindred spirits with Hillary Clinton, in a sense.
I mean, you've just got to understand that the world lies in the grasp of the wicked one. I mean, it's always been that way since the Garden of Eden, but at the end of the age, you know, Jesus foretold, and Jesus and Paul and Peter and the Old Testament prophets said that it's going to get worse and worse and worse, and that the number of true believers that are not deceived is going to drop to near zero. Jesus said, when the Son of Man returns, will he find any faith on the earth?
On the earth, yeah. And that brings up another thing, David. People like Sarah Palin and others in politics love to throw God around, love to throw the name of Jesus around. And
Jesus said in Matthew 7, not everyone that says unto me, Lord, Lord, is going to enter the kingdom of heaven. So just because they're using the name of Jesus or the name God, especially the name God, doesn't mean that they're a Christian. Yeah, you know, Jesus did not say, ye shall know them by their words. He said, ye shall know them by their fruits. There's one other thing you've got to understand about Sarah Palin. The Assembly of God that she attended is very heavily involved in the Christian heresy called dominionism.
Yes.
Have you heard of that?
I have.
In dominionism, they teach that Jesus cannot return to earth until the Christian church conquers the world for Jesus.
Sounds much like Islam, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, of course, Jesus and Paul says exactly the opposite, that at the end of the age, the number of true believers is going to drop to near zero, and Paul said that in 2 Thessalonians 2, the Antichrist would like to arise right now. You know, that was in Paul's time, but he cannot until the apostasy or the falling away of the church has occurred. So the church is going to fall away and be an absolute, almost a zero in you know, the true church in influence. But no, the dominions come along and turn the whole thing on their head. You see, President George Bush was a dominionist. That's the kind of Christian he was. And he went, after the invasions of Afghanistan and Iraq, he sent the word and sent emissaries actually out to evangelical pulpits across the land, and he said, I am fulfilling Bible prophecy by these invasions. I'm going to use the American army, American military to conquer the world for Jesus so he can return. Absolute blatant heresy, but unfortunately the church, the 1,000-member church, Baptist church that I went to here in West Columbia when I first got here, you know, fell into that trap.
Yeah,
I mean, unbelievable.
That's why the neocons are so pro-war and so eager to go to war here, there, or everywhere. Exactly. And they're not looking at what Jesus said, he who lives by the sword will die by the sword.
Right.
He never told us to pick up a sword.
My Bible tells me that when Jesus entered the world the first time, he did so with all, you know, in the face of all of the opposition that Satan and his hellish dominions could muster. We see that in Revelation 12, where he positions himself, the dragon positions himself in front of the woman to devour the child as soon as he was born.
Yeah.
So Jesus entered this world as an omnipotent sovereign in the face of all of the opposition of hell, right? And he's going to enter the Battle of Armageddon at the end of the age in the same way. He doesn't need us.
No. That is not what he called Christians to do.